Hello, welcome to Walk in the Park. My name's Tony Ingram, your host, and this one is recorded on August 22nd, our episode 17 of this weekly show. And if you would like to see all of my shows, just go to my blog, Walk in the Park. It's called ithacafingerlakes.com, ithacafingerlakes.com. Well, today we are going to go to three parks, and we're going to go, they're all in the Village of Watkins Glen, New York, and that's going to be interesting. We'll have a march among, or a walk among those three parks, from one to the other and back to the first. And we'll start off at Seneca Harbor Park, which is a municipal park, and go to the second park, which is in the Village Lafayette Park, also a municipal park, and there's a farmer's market going on while we go there, and finally go to Watkins Glen State Park, just the entrance there, and then we'll go right back to Seneca Harbor Park. And the context of this is a protest rally, and probably the biggest protest rally that this village has ever seen, and it's against something called the Energy LPG facility. Energy is a corporation in Missouri that is using abandoned salt mines along the west shore of actually on the west shore of Seneca Lake, but also underneath Seneca Lake, deep under Seneca Lake, that were mined for many years and now are filled with water and brine, really. And they were building wells there to pump this liquefied petroleum gas. That's what LPG stands for, and which includes propane, butane, but also Marcellus shale, so-called natural gas, which is mostly methane, and will be pressurized into a liquid, pumped down into the mine, and displace this brine out into brine ponds on the hillside above the lake. And there's a lot of folks that are very concerned about this and feel it'll be an environmental disaster, producing tremendous smog, pollution of the lake itself with brine and other chemicals, can be subject to leaks. The history of this kind of gas storage tends to lend itself on occasion to big accidents, and not excluding even disastrous explosions here and there. So there's a lot of things that people are concerned about. Plus, it's part of the infrastructure of the hydrofracking of Marcellus shale, which is a much larger regional issue, but this is actually a critical piece of it. In any case, I'm going to take us to people that can explain it better than I know, which is a group called Gas Free Seneca, and they have produced on their website a video which we will go to and take a look at. I do apologize for the quality of the video. I simply set up my camera and took it off their website, and it was a kind of a fuzzy YouTube to start with, so I'm sure they have no problem with that, but please bear with me. The message and the information is good. This is actually a picture of the area that's being developed. The lower left is the U.S. salt plant, which is a central portion of their facility. But on the right center, you can see a lot of roads and areas. These are the brine mines and other facilities, and brine ponds actually in the upper right. It's kind of hard to see here, but there are brine ponds, or at least one brine pond, maybe more, I'm not sure. But in any case, let's go see that video that Gas Free Seneca has put together for us here. So just bear with me for a moment and we'll go there.
Energy LP, a Kansas City, Missouri-based company, has designs on our area. Their stated goal is to build out an integrated gas storage and transportation hub servicing the northeastern United States. Energy's Seneca Lake facility will be at the epicenter of that hub. Plans include a 14-acre open brine pit on this hillside, perched above Seneca Lake, with a 60-foot burning flare stack. Billions and billions of cubic feet of methane, fracked gas from the Marcellus shale, and hundreds of millions of gallons of liquefied petroleum gas in salt caverns below Seneca Lake. All of this massive infrastructure will be in the town of Reading, New York, and much of it will be in the Seneca Lake protection area in the town of Reading. A 6-track rail siding capable of loading and unloading 24 rail cars every 12 hours, each one containing 30,000 gallons of LPG. A truck depot capable of loading or unloading 4 to 5 trucks per hour, with 2 bays expandable to 4 bays. Five above-ground bullet tanks, each with a capacity of approximately 30,000 gallons of propane or butane. And of course, moving billions of cubic feet of methane through pipelines requires compressor stations, like this giant compressor station here. Expect a dramatic increase in LPG truck traffic, especially in the wintertime when our roads can be snow-covered and icy. As many as 32 rail cars full of propane at a time will be crossing the 75-year-old trestle that spans the Watkins Glen Gorge. Hi, my name is Joseph Campbell.
And I'm Yvonne Taylor.
Together with Jeff Dembowski, we formed Gas Free Seneca to fight the massive expansion of industrial gas storage here in the Finger Lakes.
Okay, so you can go to their website if you like, and they are eagerly seeking donations to help with their campaign. They anticipate a big legal fight over this. So once the state has probably approved their plans. Okay, so let's see where we're going to go next. Let's go to the day, the 17th, Friday the 17th of the rally, the late afternoon. And I'm going to take us to, I should read actually a disclaimer that on that video that Gas Free Seneca put up, because it says, since the video was made, something's changed. It said, this video was recorded before the Army Corps of Engineers got involved and did what Reading, the town of Reading, and the Department of Environmental Conservation couldn't do, make energy move the massive brine pit out of the Seneca Lake protection area against their will. So I guess they moved it up the hill a little bit. Anyway, the idea is they'll pump the gas in, the brine will come out in the ponds. When they pump the gas out all over the northeast, the brine will go back into the mine, back and forth, this kind of thing. So that's kind of what we're talking about. So let's go to the rally. We're going to have us listen to a acclaimed scientist, Sandra Steingraber, who is an environmental toxicologist, I think, talk about this. So I'm going to put up another image here while we get ready. And this is actually a brine wells that Energy is building. By the way, this whole thing's only about 2 miles north of the village of Watkins Glen.
Without further ado, someone who you all know, Dr. Sandra Steingraber.
I'm here because I'm a biologist, and I've testified at the public hearing about the environmental impact statement. That environmental impact statement has not answered the most fundamental question. Will the number of jobs provided by energy exceed the number of people it's going to kill? Right? We need to know the answer to that before we allow somebody to come in and take over our land. Why do we worry that people are going to be killed? Because you cannot do what energy is proposed to do without laying down a blanket of smog over this whole area. And that kind of air pollution kills people. Diesel exhaust and everything else is linked to stroke, it's linked to heart attack, it's linked to diabetes, and it's linked to preterm birth, which is a leading cause of disability in the United States and one of the most expensive medical things that can happen to you. It's cause of asthma in children, an $18 billion a year problem in the United States. So if you pollute the air by an explosive, dangerous energy project here, all downwind, children and pregnant women are endangered. I know this as a biologist. I spent the last 20 years looking at these kind of data. Are we going to let this kind of energy industry spoil the air on which our children's lungs and our wine grapes depend? No. Question for us. I'm also here as a mother myself. When I was pregnant, I received all my prenatal care right here at the September Hill Birth Center. My son was born in water from Seneca Lake. He was born in a bathtub. I didn't intend that. I just didn't get out in time to have him on land. So what flows through the blood and body and cerebral spinal fluid in the exhaled breath of my son, who's now 11 years old, is this place. This is his birthplace. This is the name of the county and the place is on his birth certificate. That is a sacred place to me and to our family. I'm not going to stand by and let it be completely turned into a toxic dump for the bottom line of an industry that has no biological place in this community. So to close, here is a paragraph of the birth scene from my son in the book I wrote about him, Raising Elijah. I think you'll recognize the landscape. Getting from our house to the September Hill Birth Center, a renovated farmhouse next to the hospital in Montour Falls, requires a 45-minute drive. At the 35-minute mark is Watkins Glen. The road through this village passes by vineyards, dairy farms, bait shops, and offers a view of a waterfall-laced gorge. It is a tranquil place. The midwife met us at the door and led me gracefully to a whirlpool tub. Immediately, in the way the water floated me, something on the verge of unbearable became bearable again. Something on the verge of terrifying receded. Yes, I was truly in labor now, truly in it. Labor was a room with a ticking clock, a tiled wall, and swirls of light. Labor was a room, a shale floor of a briny sea, magma, pressure. I descended by braille, and I rose through the squeezing passageway of my own breathing. Labor was the sparkling lake called Seneca. I could swim a long way. And when it came time to push, I pushed hard. I needed to push, I wanted to push, and what other verbs existed in the space between needed and wanted, I did those too. And then he was in my arms, and the rain arrived. And somewhere in a nearby pond, frogs, like loose banjo strings, started twanging. The prophetic name Elijah seemed too peaceful for my son. He kept his eyes firmly shut, decidedly shut, as if he had not yet completely arrived in this world. But I knew my whole life that I loved him instantly, hugely, and involuntarily. And I love this place hugely, instantly, and involuntarily. Our message today to energy is that I won't stop until you stop. Let's say it together. I won't stop until you stop. I won't stop until you stop. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Sandra Steingraber. She puts it in human terms better than anyone else I have heard. Okay, so let's actually go to the march. More than 200 people took. It was, I don't think anything else is like this has ever happened in the village of Watkins Glen. We walked from Seneca Harbor Park to Lafayette Park, finally to Watkins Glen State Park, and very proud that we went to Watkins Glen State Park because I used to work for the state parks, including quite a lot in Watkins Glen. So I like to wear my hats that fit the story each week. Anyway, let's go to the next video that actually shows the march. I'm going to put up another screen here. This is looking southeast from the west shore of Seneca Lake over the energy facility at the south end of the lake where the village of Watkins Glen is. But let's see here.
Oh, yeah.
No energy, no LPG. No LPG.
Tourism not pollution! 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 Tourism not pollution!
Just say no, yay!
It's like, what do they want besides total dominance and control? You know?
Whose lake? Our lake. 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 Our lake. Our lake.
Okay, so give you a little flavor of that. Just in case you were wondering that the guy yelling, "Tourism, not pollution," yeah, that was me. Okay, so you know, it's interesting. The Elmira Star Gazette, the Corning Leader, and the newspaper in Hornell, New York, gave great coverage of this march. and the Ithaca Journal did not even mention it. I searched all through the paper. I wrote them a letter and said, why didn't you tell, the story of this at all? And they didn't publish that either so far. Anyway, particularly interesting because the Democratic nominee for the 23rd Congressional District that includes Ithaca, who is from Ithaca, Nate Shinagawa, was at the rally. So let's see what Nate Shinagawa had to say, since the Ithaca Journal didn't want to tell us about it. I'll go up to another screen here showing the energy facility from a Google Earth image provided by Bill Hecht once again. Thank you very much, Bill. Showing labeling of a lot of the facilities here. We won't get into the details of that, but we will go to Nate Shinagawa here in a moment. So Nate Shinagawa, Democratic candidate for Congress.
That's right.
Yes. Tell us about what you think about this rally here.
Well, I think it's fantastic that we've got all these folks out here against the LPG facility. The last thing that we need to see is the heavy industrialization of the Finger Lakes. This is one of the most beautiful regions of New York, and we need to do everything that we can to make sure that we preserve our water, our air, our natural resources here, so that way we can keep this booming agricultural industry and just this beautiful quality of life.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Hello, everyone. It is wonderful to see all of you here today. I mean, this really shows that this isn't just a moment. This isn't a movement. All right. Now, I'm Nate Shinagawa. I'm running for Congress. Thank you. But I don't want to make my remarks today about running for Congress, or even about the electoral system. I want to because I want you all to know that it's not just the electoral system that's important. What you need is you need to have a people-powered movement in order to make real change happen. Because the fact is that right now we have a politics, we have people in power at not only the federal level, but even at the local elected level, right, that aren't listening to you. You have corporations that aren't listening to you. And when that time comes, you have to recognize that all they want you to do when they ignore you, they want you to quiet down. But I believe that quieting down is the equivalent of standing down. And when it comes to our environment and our quality of life, we cannot stand down. We will not stand down. We will wake up. We will get up. We will rise up. We will do what we need to do to protect our communities, protect our lakes, and protect this wonderful Finger Lakes and Southern Tier community. When I was a Cornell student, almost a decade ago, I used to be very involved in rallies. And one of my favorite things to do was a little chant. So I'm going to bring back that Nate. The Nate that used to roll up his sleeves, just as I did now, have a little bit of a cut, torn up jean look. I looked like Reed, actually, a lot of the time. And I'm going to bring that Nate back for a moment. One of the things I always used to like to say, and be reminded of, is that there ain't no power like the power of the people. Because the power of the people don't stop.
Say what?
There ain't no power like the power of the people. Because the power of the people don't stop.
Say what?
There ain't no power like the power of the people. Because the power of the people don't stop.
Say what?
There ain't no power like the power of the people. Because the power of the people don't stop.
Say what?
Right. No power like the power of the people. Because the power of the people don't stop.
Woo!
Thank you all so much for letting me speak. Great job organizing here, and I stand with you, and when I get elected, I will also stand with all of you. Thank you.
Okay, Nate Shinagawa running for Congress. Sounds like he wants to represent the people, not the industry. Okay, we're running down on time here. I'm going to finish this off with some words at the rally from a local businessman who's been very active in this. Some 140 businesses have signed on to this campaign to stop the LPG facility, seeing it as bad for the existing economy in the area. So we will go right to that one. I'm going to put up one final cover image here while we get through the next and final video. We'll run out our time with this, I'm sure. Lou Damiani of Damiani Wine Cellars.
And now we have one of these courageous people who happened to be a businessman and also happened to run a winery in our area, who's been up front on this issue for a long time. For those of you who are in business, you know that it takes a special brand of courage to come out on a controversial issue because you're running the risk of antagonizing some of your potential customers. However, given that fact, this man has been out in front of this issue right from the beginning, and I'd like to proudly represent and introduce Lou Damiani.
Hello. Wow, democracy in action. It's great, isn't it? I scribbled a few notes before I got here, and I really mean I scribbled them. So bear with me, because I get nervous and jerky in front of people. So,
Put the mic close to your mouth.
all right. This doesn't feel right. We are here to protest what some of our local officials have let into the community. I would call them our leaders, but they weren't leading on this. They were following. This influence peddling company that is probably donating to their campaigns. The gas and oil and the big banks control local, state, and national politics. Let's talk about the economics of the Finger Lakes. The Finger Lakes are considered across the world as one of the top lake tourist spots in the world. With a $3 billion a year sustainable, renewable tourist industry. This is not chump change. This employs a lot of people. It's not the 8 to 10 people that Energy is talking about. We, as an industry, employ thousands in the Finger Lakes.
Yeah.